السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Musa alayhi salam, when he was traveling through the desert and he was lost, and he sees a fire in the distance, and he tells his family, hang tight here, perhaps I will go to the fire and I will find a torch or I'll get some guidance. And as he approaches the fire, he is introduced to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduces himself to Musa alayhi salam. أَنَا رَبُّكَ فَاخْلَعْنَ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوَى. That I am your Lord, remove your shoes because you're in a blessed valley. إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهُ فَاعْبُدْنِي وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. I am Allah, so worship me alone and establish the prayer for my remembrance. Now I want you to imagine that you're in the shoes of Musa alayhi salam and this is transpiring in front of you. How do you think he's reacting to this? He's probably freaking out. This is not a normal experience for any human being. And he's being introduced to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is it really him? Is it shaitan? Are the jinn messing with me? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what he's going through. He knows he's skeptical. Tells him, take your staff and throw it. And Allah transforms that staff into an actual snake that terrifies him. That he starts running away and Allah tells him, come back. We'll return it to its original form. You're not convinced yet? No problem. Put your hand in your side and pull it out. It's like a lamp, bright, shining. This is not normal. Return it back. Goes back to normal. And Allah tells him, لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. These are two signs from the signs that we have showed you. Okay. What's next? What is the purpose of this meeting? What am I going to be told to do? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. The last thing that Musa alayhi salam probably wanted to hear. The person he fled from 10 years ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling him to go to this person. How far out of his comfort zone do you think this task that he was assigned with was? Go to Fir'aun because he has transgressed all limits that's there. Killing innocent babies, newborns when they're born. Because of his fear that his empire would be taken over. Enslaving Banu Israel. And on top of that, claiming himself to be the Lord. Musa alayhi salam knows he has no way out. He knows he's tasked with this. He has to follow through. He's got to make it happen. So he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he asks him, قَالَ رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. That, oh Allah, expand my chest. What this means is that as a person goes on this task, those limiting beliefs, those doubts, the difficulties are going to show up. Shaitan's going to whisper and make this person feel that they can't do it. Expand my chest so that I don't weaken in my resolve. So that those limiting beliefs don't overtake me. And make my affair easy for me. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy, then it's guaranteed to happen. وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي. And untie the knot from my tongue. He had a lisp. And this task that he's tasked with, he needs to be able to be eloquent in his speech so that they understand what he's saying, so that the message is received in the way that it is meant to be received. And he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to untie a knot from his tongue so that they can understand him. Hassan al-Basri said that if he asked for all of it to be untied, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have done that. But he needed enough to get the message across. And then he doesn't stop it there, but he says, وَاجْعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِّنْ أَهْلِي هَارُونَ أَخِي. That make a minister from my family to be with me, my brother Harun, and strengthen my back with him. وَأَشْرِكْهُ فِي أَمْرِي. And make him share in my task, because he also needs a support system. When it gets difficult, when it's hard, who's going to push him and tell him to keep going? The accountability is there, but that support system is also needed. And he asked for his brother to be his support system. Why? So that they can undertake this task and كَيْ نُسَبِّحَكَ كَثِيرًا وَنَذْكُرَكَ كَثِيرًا إِنَّكَ كُنْتَ بِنَا بَصِيرًا. So that we may glorify you, Allah. We may remember you, Allah. Indeed, you see everything that is going to happen. Not just for his task, but he's asking the dua so that he can even improve in his ibadah and connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this state. And he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how does Allah respond? قَالَ قَدْ أُوتِيتَ سُؤْلَكَ يَا مُوسَى. You want it? You've gotten it. This is what you think you need in order to complete this task, this mission. You have it. And Allah does not stop there. But He reminds Musa alayhi salam of the care and the blessings that is there in his life from those that he does not even remember. وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّ عَلَيْكَ مَرَّةً أُخْرَى. Indeed, we have given you blessings before this. إِذْ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ مَا يُوحَى. When we inspired your mother with that which we inspired her with, through her dream or through inspiration. أَنِ اقْذِفِيهِ فِي التَّابُوتِ فَاقْذِفِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ فَلْيُلْقِهِ الْيَمُّ بِالسَّاحِلِ يَأْخُذْهُ عَدُوٌّ لِّي وَعَدُوٌّ لَهُ وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي وَلِتُصْنَعَ عَلَىٰ عَيْنِي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding Musa of 8 blessings that He has given him. And the purpose of this is so that he can increase in his connection and steadfastness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes up. Because many of this he's not even probably aware of. That how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care of him. In a state when he was born in a year, that year Fir'aun was meant to slaughter all the newborn boys from Banu Israel. 1 year he would let them live, the next year they would be slaughtered. Harun was born in the year when they were allowed to live. Musa alayhi salam was not born in that year. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling him, reminding him, showing him the blessings, because we tend to forget the victories. We remember the difficulties, the hard times, but we tend to forget all those times where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken care of us, has blessed us, has nurtured us. And He tells him, when we inspired her to put him in the basket and to throw the basket in the river, and the river will take it to the river bank, and who's going to pick him up? His enemy. The very person he was meant to go and tackle, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him to be raised in that person's home. His enemy and my enemy. وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي. And I put love in your heart. Which means that anyone who saw Musa alayhi salam was filled with love for him. Would love him instantly. Even Fir'aun, he was skeptical. Musa alayhi salam, when he was a little child, would play with his beard. And he remembered the prophecy. And he would want to do something. But then that love would overtake him and he can't do anything. And Allah said, you were brought up under my watch. Reminding him again, إِذْ تَمْشِي أُخْتُكَ فَتَقُولُ هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى مَنْ يَكْفُلُ. That when your sister knew that you were gone, and she went and she was observing what's the case, what's happening there. And she told him, should I not point you to somebody that's going to be responsible for him? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevented him from nursing from all the other women that were there. And then he فَرَجَعْنَكَ إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا وَلَا تَحْزَنْ. And we returned you to your mother so that she would be content and not grieve. وَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا فَنَجَّيْنَاكَ مِنَ الْغَمِّ وَفَتَنَّاكَ فُتُونًا. And when you killed the Coptic individual, by mistake and grief and anxiety overtook you, you were afraid for your life. What will Fir'aun do to you? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who protected you. وَفَتَنَّاكَ فُتُونَ فَلَبِثْتَ سِنِينَ فِي أَهْلِ مَدْيَنَ ثُمَّ جِئْتَ عَلَىٰ قَدَرٍ يَا مُوسَى. And then we tested you with different trials. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning this testing in the context of blessings. Not in negative context, but in the context of blessings. That you went through all of this and you made it through to make you better, stronger, and ready for the task that you're about to be appointed with. And you stayed in Madian, فَلَبِثْتَ سِنِينَ فِي أَهْلِ مَدْيَنَ ثُمَّ جِئْتَ عَلَىٰ قَدَرٍ يَا مُوسَى. And you spent all this time in Madian and you have come at the appointed time, at the exact time that you were meant to come. It's not an accident. وَاصْطَنَعْتُكَ لِنَفْسِي. And I have chosen you for myself. This word, istina' means to literally produce something with extreme care. As if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling, I made you go through all of this. I'm preparing you for this journey that you're about to take. Now I want us to look at these same verses, the last verse, and apply it to ourselves. Everything that you and I have been through was never meant to break us, to destroy us, to weaken us, but it was meant to raise us, to elevate us, to purify us, to strengthen us, to make us stronger, better, sharper. And everyone here is where they need to be. The hands that we have been dealt are the cards dealt with by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no mistake in there. We are exactly where we need to be. And we know how the story of Musa alayhi salam played out. How do we want our story to play out? Musa alayhi salam was given his mission. You and I have a mission as well. Our mission is to make it to Jannah, to be from the people of Jannah. How are we going to plan to be from the people of Jannah? How is this next year for us going to look? So that we strive towards Jannah. So that when it's all said and done and we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we present our story to Him, we can hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers us with His mercy. And through that enters us into Jannah. And He chose Musa alayhi salam and He chose us as well to be from the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. You are the best of nations that has been brought forth for the people. The best of people for the people. Not because we're passive. تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Because you command the good. You encourage, you empower, you help, you uplift. وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. And you help people see the negative consequences of evil and sin, to stay away from it. And the most important thing, وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. And you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaykh Sa'di, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Muslims, this ummah, you and I, that we are the best of nations. We're meant to grow and improve and become the best that we can become. Not only that, but also we help others do the same as well. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ طَالَ عُمُرُهُ وَحَسُنَ عَمُلُهُ. The best of people with who? With who? In whose eyes? With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are those as their life increases, the more time they spend in this world, their actions get better and better and better. This is a nation of growth, of improvement. Not just in our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That we strive to be from the people of ihsan. We try to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that we can actually see Him. But we can't do that, but we know that He's watching us. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, خَيْرُكُمْ خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي. The best of you with who? With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who are best to their families. And I am the best to my family. خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The best of people are those who are the most beneficial to others. How many hadith are there that encourage us to be amongst the best? And it takes a decision that I'm going to try my best to be amongst the best. I'm going to try to improve those areas that I need to improve in. As a parent, as a spouse, as a child, as a member of community. In my health, in my wealth, in whatever I can, I'm going to try to improve. And as we make a decision and we go on that path, Shaitan's going to come and tell us you can't do it. Those limiting beliefs are going to come and pull us back when it gets difficult. The people are going to tell us, why are you wasting your time? You can't do it. That negativity is going to bring us down. But my dear brothers and sisters, Trust me, you can do it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change the people until they change themselves first. This is such a powerful, motivating, uplifting verse, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us you do have the ability to change. All you have to do is take that first step. Understand what it takes. Keep pushing yourself, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of the rest. That support from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. But we have to do our part. We have the ability to change. We should, because we want to be from the people of Jannah. The only question is, will we? أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين صلى الله على نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Usually around this time of year, people, they start setting up New Year's resolutions. And one of the most common ones are that people want to improve in their health. And that's what you're going to see is in January, the gym memberships are going to skyrocket because people are motivated. They want to get in better health. They're going to sign up for the gym. And a few weeks go by, and they're going to stop going. Because motivation is not enough to get you to where you want to get to. Motivation runs out. There's other thing that needs to be there in order for people to change, in order for a household to change, in order for a community to change, in order for a nation to change. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the story of Musa alayhi salam, Surah Al-Taha, He's kind of just telling us the blueprint. That accountability you can't get out of. You have to push through when it gets difficult. The things that you need, turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and showing your weakness. That I'm nobody, but with you I can. With you we can. What is the skills that I need to develop in order to actually make it happen? To turn my family life around, to turn my business around, to get that promotion. What do I need to improve in? Having that support system as well. That when it gets difficult, when life knocks us down, having those people there to pull us up, to tell us keep going, to remind us of the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as we notice the struggles that's there, to also notice how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken care of us all of this time. To really tune into that. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has nurtured us, taken care of us, and brought us here. Where we have the ability to work towards different things. And in light of that, to be able to actually create that change and structure our year in a way that we can say that, hey, this year, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I did my best and it was truly through your blessings, the best year of my life. We'll have a workshop on Sunday, January the 21st, to see that how can this actually become a reality. The motivation is not enough. We need to have structure in place. We need to know why we're moving towards that. And then how can we plan it in a way that we're actually able to get to where we want to get to. And it's not about getting that goal, to getting that achievement, but it's about becoming better. Did I get better as a spouse? Did I get better as a parent? Did I improve as a child? Did I improve in my service to my community? Did I improve in my mental health? Did I move closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst the best. May He bless us with a long life filled with goodness. May He strengthen our faith. May He improve our family lives. May He bless us with the best in this world and the next. We have a major announcement about Sudan going through the crisis that they're going through. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease the affairs of all of our brothers and sisters around the world. They are in a dire need of help to get basic life necessities. The IAR Social and Welfare Committee, in its humanitarian efforts, is collecting donations to help the needy in Sudan. The collections will be sent to these needy families through Islamic Relief or other approved organizations, and all donations are zakat eligible. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease the suffering of the Muslims all across the world. May He free Palestine. May He ease the sufferings of the people in Sudan, in Syria, and all around the world. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا واعتدلوا. Please turn your lines, close the gaps. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. وما تلك بيمينك يا موسى قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى قال ألقها يا موسى فألقاها فإذا هي حية تسعى قال خذها ولا تخف سنعيدها سيرتها الأولى واضم يدك إلى جناحك تخرج بيضاء من غير سوء آية أخرى لنريك من آياتنا الكبرى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا قال قد أوتيت سؤلك يا موسى ولقد مننا عليك مرة أخرى. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ولقد مننا عليك مرة أخرى إذ أوحينا إلى أمك ما يوحى أن اقذفيه في التابوت فاقذفيه في اليم فليلقه اليم بالساحل يأخذه عدو لي وعدو له وألقيت عليك محبة مني ولتصنع على عيني إذ تمشي أختك فتقول هل أدلكم على من يكفله فرجعناك إلى أمك كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن وقتلت نفسا فنجيناك من الغم وفتناك فتونا فلبثت سنين في أهل مدين ثم جئت على قدري يا موسى واصطنعتك لنفسي. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.